The mast cell histamine response, I mean, that's kind of what we call like a true allergy, right? Like when somebody has that response or that reaction inside their body. Well, there's four main different types of histamine responses, and two of them are very delayed. So you might actually have an exposure and you don't even know what it might have been per se, because you have a delayed reaction in the body. And a lot of these chemicals can do so, can be a true bona fide allergy where it ticks the marks on the diagnosis, right? And you see that with the asthmatic situation. Their mast cell count is on the rise, their histamine levels go up, that sort of thing. Now, if you do have a histamine reaction to any of these chemicals, my go-to is usually quercetin and high doses of vitamin C, and ideally some sort of homeopathic to help, drain you or cleanse you. I really like spagyrics a lot for cleansing. I use them a lot. Tissue salts as well, very important. We don't really use them enough or understand them enough, but these are trace minerals that again help your cell communication happen, help you structure water, and help all the electrical roots of your body do what they need to do, which is beyond split second. Before it's quicker than split second reactions in your body. And if you're depleted, then everything's sluggish and slow and isn't going to progress, right? So I like the Picana line of drainage remedies. So you can target certain tissues. So say you want to detox the lungs and the lymph and the liver. Well, then you could do like pick 3 of them, put 15 drops of each in 1 glass of water, and drink that glass of water 3 times a day. So doing that 3 times a day until the bottles are finished, and you've done more of an intracellular release. So you're allowing the tissue that has comprised and grabbed these wastes that are just sitting and sort of festering or causing the mitochondrial levels of action to go down, to decrease, to pick up again. So you get actually more of a lift, more energy, feel like you can exercise, you can make these changes. Because a lot of the problems when you're sick, you don't want to because you don't feel good, right? So you have to get out of that vicious cycle where you get enough energy enough to actually want and desire to make the changes in your regime. So I really do I like those gentle drainage remedies that anyone can do, because if you're really full, like even those fibromyalgia patients I was saying, so full they react to everything because you couldn't not, because when you're cleansing and detoxing, you feel those symptoms, and they were afraid of the pain and the symptoms, and so they were trying to stay away from it as much as possible. They'd actually made their world all about buffering themselves from having those reactions, which is no way to live, obviously. But unfortunately, with the case where you're so full up, you're going to have some discomfort for a while as you go through it. But with drainage remedies, I found even in those individuals, very mild or minor expressions. So then they begin to trust their body again, and then they get their magnesium. Some will even react to magnesium because magnesium will detox them right away, and they can't even handle their own basic detox. So usually I try to get them on an enema as best as I can, and get them on the Picana drainage remedies so they can start there. So if someone's really in a bad way, that's where I would begin. And then I would look into urine therapy as well, which I've talked about videos, it is a detoxifier. The amount of chemicals that come out are only samples of. And in fact, it's interesting because when you re-imbibe that, you're actually giving your nervous system a whole nother layer of knowledge about what's coming out of you and what is metabolizing or not. So if you're partly metabolizing a chemical, fully metabolizing, or otherwise, you're only going to get about 4% of your urine with any admixture of any of those. Like, could be thousands of different metabolites in that 4%. But that is really important, like almost like a personal homeopathic remedy that you imbibe, and then that goes to the limbic system, and it begins to say, oh wait, oh wow, oh we have all these chemicals, this isn't metabolizing properly, that's not metabolizing properly. So you're giving the body this important feedback that can help your detox game, and it will release more it's supposed to release through the bowels, through the stool, through the sweat and skin, through the breath, these sorts of routes of elimination. But the waters are not really the primary route of removal, even though you will find it if you're looking for it and amplify it in your sample. So that's why you can use urine to find all kinds of stuff going on. But we're talking like, a very small percentage of the urine actually containing enough to even do any harm. Usually when you're doing heavy detox, most people say stay away from using urine therapy, but I really haven't found that to be the case personally, or from other people who have tried it. It's really just your own, where you're comfortable with, but that's another tool in your tool belt for sure for detox.